Jenna had just wrapped up a long, exhausting week at work and was looking forward to her Friday night date. It was nothing serious, just a casual dinner with someone she had met online. She had no big expectations. The plan was simple. Meet, eat, and chat. It was supposed to be a nice way to unwind after a busy week. The date was nothing special, and Jenna didn't expect it to turn into anything more. She arrived at the restaurant early, sitting by the window and scanning the crowd for any sign of the guy she had been chatting with for the past few days. His name was Max, and from their online messages, he seemed like an easygoing, funny guy, not too serious, but definitely someone she could have a good time with. Minutes passed, and she began to wonder if he was running late. Maybe he had changed his mind. She checked her phone, just to make sure she hadn't missed any messages. But there was nothing. She sighed and took a sip of her water, glancing at the door. And then he walked in. But this wasn't what she had imagined. The man who entered the restaurant wasn't Max. Or at least, he didn't look anything like the person she had expected. He was tall, way taller than most men Jenna knew. He stood at least 6'4", maybe more. His skin was an unusual shade of pale, almost like porcelain, and his hair was white, shiny like polished silver. His eyes were the most unusual part. They shimmered with a soft glow, like stars in the night sky. Jenna blinked and rubbed her eyes, sure that her exhaustion was playing tricks on her. She quickly stood up, thinking maybe he had just walked past and she was seeing things. But no, he was walking directly toward her, his footsteps steady and confident. He had a calm, almost otherworldly presence, and he was staring straight at her. "Jenna?" he asked, his voice deep but gentle. Jenna's heart skipped a beat. She looked around to make sure no one else was standing in front of her. The man seemed almost too perfect. There was something off about him, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. Yes?" she replied cautiously, trying to smile, though her mind was racing. "I'm Karn," he said, his voice soft but clear. "It's a pleasure to meet you." Jenna was confused. Karn? That wasn't his name. This was some kind of joke, right? Maybe Max had pulled a prank on her. She laughed awkwardly, glancing at the empty chair across from her. She motioned for him to sit. "So, where's Max?" Jenna asked, still unsure whether to believe her eyes. Karn looked puzzled for a moment, his brows furrowing. "Max? I thought we were meeting tonight. Is that not what we agreed on?" Jenna's confusion deepened. "Wait, are you saying you're Max?" He shook his head slowly, his gaze steady on her. "I'm not Max, but I am the one you agreed to meet. You didn't think it was a joke, did you?" The words felt like a riddle. Jenna didn't know whether to laugh or run out of the restaurant. She tried to laugh it off, but something in the back of her mind told her this was no ordinary date. She had never met anyone who looked like him. No human, at least. His features were too perfect, too strange. It was as though he wasn't quite from her world. Karn sat down across from her, his eyes never leaving hers. He smiled softly, though. It seemed almost distant. "I understand you must be confused, but I assure you there is no mistake." Jenna was still trying to process this odd turn of events. She took a deep breath and tried to play it cool. "Okay, look, I don't know what this is all about, but if you're not Max, then why are you here?" Karn seemed to consider her words carefully. "I was chosen to meet you. There's something important I need to tell you, Jenna. It's not about a casual date, it's about something much larger than that." Jenna's heart raced. She wasn't sure what to think. Was this some kind of weird pickup line? A prank that had gone too far? But before she could speak, Karn continued, his voice even more serious. "I'm not from Earth, Jenna. I'm not human. I come from a distant world. My people have been watching your planet for many years, and I was chosen to form a bond with you." Jenna stared at him, trying to make sense of his words. This wasn't the kind of date she had imagined. Her mind raced through 1,000 possibilities. A dream? A hallucination? Maybe she had eaten something bad? No way, this is crazy, Jenna muttered, her voice shaky. You're telling me you're an alien? Karn nodded, his expression calm. Yes, and I'm here to ask for your help. I didn't come here by accident. Our meeting is part of something much bigger. It's important. Jenna didn't know what to say. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. The stranger across from her wasn't just odd, he was unsettling. And yet there was something oddly comforting about his presence, something that made her want to listen. She shook her head in disbelief. This has to be a joke. You're pulling my leg, right? Karn didn't smile, but his eyes softened. I can see you're confused. I'll explain everything, but I need you to trust me, Jenna. Jenna sat back in her chair, looking at the strange man, alien, apparently, and wondering if she had made the biggest mistake of her life by agreeing to this date. Jenna sat there, staring at Karn, still trying to wrap her head around what he had just said. He was an alien, an actual alien. She couldn't stop shaking her head. It felt like a bad joke, something out of a science fiction movie. But the calm, serious look on Karn's face told her he wasn't playing around. He wasn't laughing, and he wasn't going to suddenly jump up and shout, "Gotcha!" The silence between them stretched out, long and uncomfortable. Finally, Jenna found her voice, though it was shaky. So, you're really an alien? She asked, her eyes wide. And you came all the way here, just to meet me? Karn nodded, his eyes still locked on hers. Yes, Jenna. I am an alien, and yes, I came specifically to meet you. This is not a coincidence. Jenna stared at him, still in disbelief. She wasn't sure whether she should laugh or run, but there was something about Karn, something in the way he spoke, in his calm demeanor, that made her believe he wasn't lying. But how could that be? She was just a regular woman, living in a regular city. There was no way she could be involved in something so extraordinary. This is insane, Jenna said, shaking her head. You're telling me that me, of all people, was chosen to meet you. For what? Why? Karn leaned forward, his eyes intense but gentle. I know this is hard to believe, but I assure you it's true. My people, the Virexians, have been observing Earth for many years. We've been studying your planet, your species, and we've come to a very important conclusion. The time has come for Earth to join the intergalactic community. Jenna blinked, still trying to catch up. Wait. Intergalactic community? Like you want Earth to be part of some kind of space alliance or something? Karn nodded again, his voice steady. Exactly. But the reason I'm here, Jenna, is that my people believe that the key to Earth's future, and the future of many other worlds, lies with you. The bond we share, the connection between us, it's not just a personal relationship, it's much more than that. Jenna felt a lump in her throat. Wait, bond? You mean, like, a romantic bond? She tried to keep her voice light, but it came out more like a question than a statement. This was all moving too fast. It didn't make sense. Yes, a bond, Karn said, his gaze never leaving hers. But not just any bond. A union between us that goes beyond romance. It's a symbol, Jenna. A symbol of peace and cooperation between our two species. If we join together, our marriage would show that humans and Virexians can work together, grow together, and protect one another. Jenna felt her head spinning. Wait. Hold on. Are you saying that I'm supposed to marry you? The words felt strange coming out of her mouth. But we just met. We don't even know each other. Karn's expression softened, and for the first time, Jenna saw a hint of emotion in his eyes. I understand your confusion. But this is how it works. My people have been preparing for this moment for a long time. We have been waiting for someone on Earth to show the potential to lead, to bring peace. And when I met you, I knew you were the one. Your ability to understand, to empathize, and to make decisions from the heart, These are the qualities that we need." Jenna sat back in her chair, her mind racing. She felt overwhelmed, like she was being asked to take on the weight of the entire world. She wasn't a leader. She was just a regular woman. How could she possibly be the key to saving Earth and a whole galaxy of alien species? "But I don't know anything about space politics," Jenna said, her voice trembling. "I'm not equipped for something like this. You're talking about something way bigger than me." Karn smiled, a warm and reassuring smile. "You don't need to know everything right now. You'll learn. I'll help you. But you do have the qualities that are needed, and together we can help Earth take its place in the stars." Jenna was still in shock. She needed time to think. This was too much for one night. I don't know. This is all too much. Too fast." Karn nodded, understanding. "I know it's overwhelming, and I'm not asking you to decide right now. But there are things you need to know. Things that will explain everything. I promise I won't force you into anything. But if you trust me, and if you're willing to take the first step, I can show you the way." Jenna closed her eyes, trying to calm the storm of thoughts in her head. Could this really be happening? Could she be part of something this big? Something beyond her wildest dreams? She opened her eyes and looked at Karn again, his gaze steady and kind. "I don't even know if I can believe this, but I guess I'm willing to listen. I can't promise anything, but I'll hear you out." Karn's face lit up with a smile, and for the first time, Jenna saw how much this meant to him. "Thank you, Jenna. That's all I ask. Trust and the willingness to see what we can accomplish together." Jenna still wasn't sure what she had just agreed to, but one thing was clear. Her life had just changed forever. She was no longer just a regular woman in a city, living a normal life. She was now part of something much larger, something beyond the world she had always known. As they sat together in the quiet restaurant, Karn began to explain more about the Virexians and the intergalactic community they were part of. Jenna listened, her mind racing with questions but also with a growing sense of wonder. This was the start of something extraordinary, but what that something was, she had no idea. The days that followed were a blur for Jenna. What had started as a simple dinner date had turned into something far beyond her understanding. Karn was patient with her, never pushing too hard, but his words echoed in her mind. She had agreed to listen to him, but now she had no idea where to begin. Jenna found herself sitting across from Karn again, this time in a quiet park. They had met up for coffee, though she was far too distracted to even touch her cup. Karn, however, appeared perfectly calm. He looked the same as he had before, tall, composed, and with those strange glowing eyes that seemed to see right through her. "Are you ready to learn?" Karn asked, his voice smooth and serious. Jenna hesitated for a moment before nodding. She had to know more. She couldn't just ignore this. As bizarre as it seemed, something in her told her that this was real, and it was happening whether she was ready or not. Karn began by explaining the Virexians, their home planet, their culture, and their place in the larger galaxy. He spoke of worlds far beyond Earth, civilizations that had existed for thousands of years. These were not just any aliens. The Virexians were advanced, both in technology and philosophy. They believed in peace, in unity, and in cooperation with other species. At least most of them did. "The galaxy is vast, Jenna," Karn said, his tone growing more serious. "There are hundreds of different species, all with their own histories, their own governments. Some are peaceful, some are not. We have worked to ensure peace and balance, but it's fragile. That's where Earth comes in." Jenna listened, intently, trying to absorb everything. It was a lot to take in, but she had to admit that the more Karn spoke, the more real it felt. The way he described the galaxy didn't sound like fantasy or fiction. It sounded like something that had been going on long before Earth was even aware of it. "You see," Karn continued, The Virexians have been watching Earth for centuries. Your planet has shown great promise, but you've been isolated, separated from the rest of the galaxy. There's potential here, Jenna. Potential for peace, for growth, for a future beyond your wildest dreams. But to reach that future, Earth needs to take a step forward. Jenna's head spun. And you think that step involves me? Just a normal woman from Earth. Karn nodded. Yes, Earth's future is tied to you, Jenna. You may not understand it yet, but your actions, your choices, can change the course of history, not just for your world, but for the entire galaxy. Jenna didn't know what to say to that. How could she possibly have that kind of power? She was just an ordinary person with no special skills or abilities. The more Karn spoke, the more she felt out of her depth. But Karn wasn't finished. He explained the political landscape of the Virexians and their complicated alliances with other species. Some were allies, working together for mutual benefit. Others were rivals, fighting for resources and power. And then there were the extremists, those who believed that humans were too primitive to be trusted with knowledge of the galaxy. The factions within the Virexian Council are divided, Karn said, his voice a little heavier. Some of them believe that humans are too dangerous, too violent, to be a part of the greater galactic community. They argue that we should keep Earth isolated, that it's too risky to let you in. Jenna felt a cold chill run through her. She had heard about wars and violence in the galaxy, but she hadn't realized how much was at stake. It wasn't just about her, it was about Earth's future too. But there are others, Karn continued, who believe in the potential of humanity. They see you not just as a species of violence, but as a species capable of great change. We want to bring Earth into the fold, to help guide you into the stars. Jenna took a deep breath. But how? How can I help with that? I don't know anything about galactic politics or diplomacy. I'm just me. Karn smiled slightly. That's why I'm here, Jenna. I will teach you. I'll guide you through the process. But first, you need to understand how your presence here, this bond between us, affects everything. This is more than a marriage. It's a symbol of hope, of unity. Jenna wasn't sure if she was ready for all of this, but she knew she couldn't turn back. Okay, I'll listen. But I need to understand more. What does all this mean for me? For Earth? Karn's expression grew serious. It means that your actions in the coming days, the choices you make, will determine the fate of your planet. The Virexian Council will decide whether to welcome Earth into the Intergalactic Alliance, and your bond with me is the key to convincing them. Jenna leaned back, her mind racing. She never asked for any of this. She just wanted a quiet life, a normal life. But now, she was being asked to play a role in a galaxy-spanning drama she didn't even understand. So, what's the next step? Jenna asked, her voice shaky but determined. Karn's smile returned, though it was filled with a seriousness Jenna hadn't seen before. The next step, Jenna, is proving to the Council that humans are ready. There will be trials, tests that you must face. They will challenge you, physically, mentally, emotionally. But if you succeed, Earth will stand a chance at becoming part of the galactic community. Jenna nodded slowly. It was a lot to take in, but she knew one thing for sure. There was no going back. Her life had changed forever, and somehow, she had to find a way to rise to the challenge. As Karn began to explain the specifics of the trials, Jenna felt both nervous and excited. It wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be simple. But somehow she had to find a way to prove that humanity deserved a place in the stars. Jenna couldn't stop thinking about the conversation she had with Karn. She had agreed to listen, and now the weight of the situation was starting to settle in. Her life had changed, and now she was supposed to be the key to something much bigger than herself. The idea of facing trials and tests to prove humanity's worth felt overwhelming, but Karn assured her that she wasn't alone. He would guide, her every step of the way. Over the next few days, Karn kept his word. He explained that the trials were not just physical challenges. They were meant to test her character, her decision-making, and her ability to adapt under pressure. He had told her that these trials were not easy, but they were necessary for the Council to understand if humans were ready for intergalactic integration. The first trial came sooner than Jenna expected. Karn met her early one morning in a quiet, secluded park. He appeared calm, as always, but Jenna could tell that something important was about to happen. She had no idea what to expect, but she was determined to face whatever was coming. "Are you ready, Jenna?" Karn asked, his voice steady but with an edge of excitement. Jenna nodded, though her stomach was full of butterflies. "I guess so. But what exactly do I have to do?" Karn's expression softened. "The first test is simple in concept but difficult in execution. It's about decision-making, about knowing what's important when everything seems to be falling apart. You will be presented with a series of challenges. Your task is to make the right choices even when the pressure is high." Jenna's heart began to race. She had never been one for stressful situations. In fact, she preferred calm, peaceful days. But here she was, standing on the edge of something huge, something that could change her entire world. Karn waved his hand, and suddenly the park around them started to shimmer. Jenna blinked and rubbed her eyes, unsure if she was seeing things. But when she looked again, the park had disappeared. In its place there was a vast, desolate landscape, dark, barren, and full of danger. Strange, jagged mountains rose up in the distance, and the sky above was filled with swirling clouds. "This is a simulation," Karn explained. "It's designed to test your ability to think clearly under pressure. Everything you see here is part of the test. You will face obstacles, and you'll need to make quick decisions. But remember, the choices you make will have consequences." Jenna took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing thoughts. She glanced around at the empty, desolate world. The place felt eerie, like something out of a nightmare, but she knew she had to push through. She had no choice. Before she could say anything, a loud noise echoed through the sky. The ground shook beneath her feet, and a shadow appeared on the horizon. A massive creature with spiny black armor and glowing red eyes began to move toward her. Its steps shook the ground, and its growls sent chills down her spine. Jenna's first instinct was to run, but she remembered what Karn had said. This wasn't about running away. This was about making the right choices. She had to think clearly. The creature was getting closer, and Jenna knew she had to act fast. She scanned the environment, looking for anything that might help her. Then she saw it, a narrow cave entrance hidden behind a cluster of rocks. It was her best chance. Without wasting another second, Jenna sprinted toward the cave, hoping the creature wouldn't catch up to her. She ducked inside, heart pounding in her chest. The creature roared in frustration, but it didn't follow her into the cave. Jenna leaned against the cool stone wall, trying to catch her breath. For a moment, everything was quiet. But soon, she realized that the cave wasn't as safe as it seemed. A series of small rocks began to fall from the ceiling, signaling that the cave was unstable. Jenna's heart raced again. She had to make another decision: stay in the cave and risk being trapped, or leave and face the creature outside. She couldn't stay in the cave. The last thing she wanted was to be trapped in a collapsing tunnel. But the creature outside was still a threat. She had to find a way to outsmart it. Jenna peeked out from the cave entrance. The creature was still prowling the area, waiting for her to make a move. She needed a distraction, something that would keep the creature occupied long enough for her to escape. She looked around and spotted a large rock nearby. With quick thinking, she grabbed it and hurled it in the opposite direction of the creature. The rock crashed into the ground with a loud noise, drawing the creature's attention. It roared and charged in the direction of the sound, giving Jenna just enough time to slip out of the cave and run toward a distant mountain. As she ran, her mind raced. She had made it past the first obstacle, but she wasn't out of danger yet. The landscape was treacherous, and there were more challenges ahead. But Jenna felt a spark of hope. She had faced fear and made it through. Maybe, just maybe, she could do this. Finally, after what felt like hours of running, she reached the top of a steep hill. From there, she could see the creature in the distance, still wandering in confusion. She was safe, at least for now. Jenna took a moment to catch her breath and let the reality of what she had just accomplished sink in. She had faced the first trial, and she had succeeded. It wasn't easy, but she had made the right decisions when it counted. When she looked up, Karn was standing at the top of the hill, watching her with an approving expression. "You did well, Jenna," he said, his voice warm. "You showed that you can think under pressure and make the right choices. That's the first step." Jenna smiled, exhausted but relieved. She had passed the first test, but she knew there were more challenges ahead. And if this was just the beginning, she wasn't sure what the future held. But one thing was for certain. She was ready to face whatever came next. Jenna had barely caught her breath from the first trial when Karn told her that the next stage of her journey was approaching. The weight of what had happened in the simulation still hung in the back of her mind. But now she had to focus on something bigger. The trials weren't just about her anymore. They were about Earth's future, and she had no idea just how much. Responsibility rested on her shoulders. Over the next few days, Karn began to prepare Jenna for what was coming. He spoke more about the Virexians and the other species in the galaxy. She listened intently, her curiosity growing with every story he told. The vastness of the universe she was learning about was awe-inspiring. The idea of Earth joining this galactic community was both thrilling and terrifying. Karn took her to a hidden location outside the city, aepted into the Galactic Alliance. Jenna stared at the map, her mind spinning. But why me? Why did you choose me? Karn was quiet for a moment. Because you represent the best of humanity. Your compassion, your ability to make decisions under pressure, your willingness to trust. These qualities make you the perfect candidate to lead Earth into this new future. Jenna felt a lump in her throat. But I'm just a normal person. I'm not a leader. I don't have any special training. How can I possibly do this? Karn smiled gently. You may not see it yet, but you have everything you need. You just need to believe in yourself. Your role isn't to rule over your people. It's to guide them, to help them see that they have a place among the stars. Jenna looked at the map again. The thought of Earth becoming part of such a vast, interconnected network felt overwhelming. But there was something exciting about it, too. The possibility of a better future for everyone, not just for herself. The weight of the responsibility felt heavier than ever, but Jenna knew that she couldn't back down now. She had already stepped into this world, and there was no turning back. You're ready for the next step, Karn said, breaking her thoughts. You'll meet with the Galactic Council soon. They're the ones who will decide whether Earth can join the Alliance. But they won't make that decision unless they see that humanity is ready. Jenna's heart raced at the mention of the Council. She wasn't sure if she was ready for something that big. The pressure was starting to get to her. But she had made it this far. She had faced the first test, and she had passed. Now, it was time for the next phase. Karn placed a hand on her shoulder. I believe in you, Jenna. You're not alone in this. We'll face the Council together, and you'll show them what humanity is capable of. As Jenna took a deep breath, she realized that Karn was right. She wasn't alone. Even though everything felt new and uncertain, she had Karn by her side, and somehow that made everything seem a little less intimidating. Over the next few days, Karn continued to prepare Jenna for the Council meeting. He taught her about the various species in the Galactic Alliance, their cultures, and their values. She learned about the challenges they had faced, the wars they had fought, and the peace they had worked so hard to maintain. She began to understand the stakes and how Earth's future was tied to their decisions. One evening, as they sat together under the stars, Karn turned to Jenna with a serious expression. "The Council will test you, Jenna. They'll want to see if humanity is truly ready for this. It won't be easy. Some of them will question you, doubt you, but you must stand firm. You have to show them that humanity is capable of great things." Jenna nodded, determination filling her chest. She had come this far. She wasn't going to let fear stop her now. "I'm ready," she said, more confidently than she felt. "I'll do whatever it takes." Who genuinely cared about her and Earth's future. But as the day of the council meeting grew closer, strange things began to happen. Karn's once calm demeanor had turned more tense, and he seemed to be receiving cryptic messages. One evening, as they sat together in a quiet room preparing for the final details of the council meeting, Karn's expression changed. "There's something you need to know, Jenna," he said, his voice low and serious. "The council isn't as united as you might think. There are factions, groups within the council who do not agree with Earth's inclusion. Some of them see humanity as a threat. Others think that Earth is too chaotic, too unstable to be trusted with the knowledge of the galaxy." Jenna frowned. "But I thought you said they wanted to help us." Karn nodded. "Some of them do, but there are others who will do anything to keep Earth out of the Galactic Alliance. They don't want the risks that come with including your species. They believe that Earth could become a danger to the rest of the galaxy, and some of them have already made their decision." Jenna's heart sank. "So, what does this mean? Are we going to fail? Are they going to reject us?" Karn stood up and paced around the room, his brow furrowed. "Not if we can help it. But you need to understand that there are forces at play here that go beyond us. There are people in the council who will do whatever it takes to stop Earth from joining. You'll have to be ready for anything, Jenna. They'll try to make you doubt yourself. They'll question your abilities. They might even make it look like you failed the trials." Jenna felt a cold chill run down her spine. She had known that the meeting wouldn't be easy, but now it felt like the odds were stacked against her. She had thought the trials were the hard part, but this was something entirely different. "What should I do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Karn turned to her, his eyes serious. "Stay calm. Do not let them break you. You've proven yourself in the trials, and you have the heart and the mind to lead Earth into the stars. You must stand firm in your beliefs. Do not let them see you waver." Jenna nodded, trying to steady her breath. "I'll try, but I'm not sure I can do it alone." "You're not alone," Karn replied, walking over to her. "I'll be there with you, every step of the way. You're ready, Jenna. I believe in you." But as Jenna looked at him, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still off. Karn's words were reassuring, but there was a tension in the air that made her uneasy. She couldn't help but feel like something was being kept from her. The night before the council meeting, Jenna lay awake in her bed, staring at the ceiling. Her thoughts raced as she thought about everything that had happened since she first met Karn. She had come so far, but she wasn't sure if she was ready for what lay ahead. Suddenly, there was a soft knock at the door. Jenna sat up in bed, startled. She wasn't expecting anyone at this hour. She got up and opened the door cautiously, her heart beating faster. Standing there was one of Karn's closest allies, a Virexian named Lyra. She was a tall, graceful woman, her skin a deep shade of violet, with dark, piercing eyes. Jenna had met her a few times, but they had never been close. "Jenna, we need to talk," Lyra said in a hurried tone, her voice urgent. "It's about Karn." Jenna's eyes widened. "What about him? Is he okay?" Lyra glanced around, making sure no one was listening. "There are things you don't know. Karn, he's been working with a faction of the council. He's not just your ally. He's been part of a group that's been pushing for Earth's inclusion in the Galactic Alliance, but at a price. There are some members of the council who see Earth as a bargaining chip, something to be used for political advantage. Jenna's mind raced. What are you saying? Karn's been working against us? Lyra hesitated. Not against you, but against what you might think. There's a lot going on that you don't understand, Jenna. Karn is loyal to Earth, but he's also part of something bigger. There's a faction in the council that believes Earth's involvement is essential, but they're willing to manipulate the situation to get what they want. Jenna's head spun. She had trusted Karn, believed in him. She couldn't imagine that he would be part of something so underhanded. But why would he do that? Jenna asked, her voice shaking. Lyra sighed. Because he believes in Earth's potential. But there are forces at play that are bigger than him. He's trying to play both sides. And while he cares for you, Jenna, his loyalty is to his people first. Jenna felt like the ground was falling out from under her. Everything she thought she knew was starting to crumble. I don't know what to believe anymore, Jenna whispered. Lyra placed a hand on her shoulder. You have to make your own choices, Jenna. The council will test you, but it's not just about what you say. It's about who you trust. You have to decide what's best for Earth and for yourself. As Lyra left, Jenna stood there, heart heavy with doubt. She had always believed in Karn, but now everything felt uncertain. The path ahead was no longer clear, and she didn't know who to trust. The council meeting was tomorrow, and Jenna had to face not just the questions of the council, but the hidden truths about the people she had come to rely on. The morning of the council meeting arrived far too quickly for Jenna. The night before, she had barely slept. Her mind was filled with doubts and questions. Could she trust Karn? Had he truly been working for Earth's best interests, or was he just another piece in a larger game of galactic politics? And what about the other factions? What if they were all lying to her, using her as a pawn? Standing in front of the mirror, Jenna adjusted the simple yet elegant outfit she had chosen for the meeting. It was nothing extravagant, just something that would help her feel confident. But the uncertainty gnawed at her, and she wondered if any outfit could make her feel ready for what was coming. Karn entered the room just as she was about to leave. His usual calm demeanor was there, but something in his eyes told her that he, too, was feeling the weight of the moment. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice soft. Jenna gave a tight nod, though her nerves were still on edge. "I think so, but I have to ask, are we doing the right thing, Karn? Is Earth really ready for this?" Karn walked closer to her, his gaze steady. "I believe Earth is ready. You've shown them that already. But it's not just about readiness, Jenna. It's about proving to the Council that humanity has the strength and wisdom to stand among the stars. The decision they make today will shape the future of Earth and many other worlds. I believe you can convince them." Jenna swallowed hard. What if they don't believe me? What if they see us as too dangerous? Karn sighed and placed a hand on her shoulder. There will always be those who doubt, but that doesn't mean we stop fighting for what we believe in. You have already proven yourself more than capable. Now, you just need to show them who humans truly are. The words didn't completely calm her fears, but they gave her a sense of determination. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about Earth's future, and she couldn't afford to let doubt stand in her way. Together, they walked toward the council chamber where Jenna would face the beings that held the fate of her world in their hands. As they entered the large, grand room, Jenna couldn't help but feel small in comparison. The room was enormous, with seats arranged in a circle. At the center of it all sat the Galactic Council, a group of leaders from various species, each one unique and imposing in their own way. The room was silent as they all turned their eyes toward her. Jenna took a deep breath and walked to the center of the room, feeling the weight of their gazes upon her. She could hear the soft hum of technology in the background, but the silence around her was deafening. Karn stood beside her, his presence a comfort, though she could feel the tension in the air. The council members whispered among themselves, their eyes flicking between Jenna and each other. Finally, one of them, a tall, slender alien with green skin and large black eyes, stood up and spoke. "Jenna of Earth," the alien said in a voice that was both sharp and measured. "We have heard your case. You have passed the trials and you stand before us, claiming that humanity is ready to join the Galactic Alliance, but we are not so easily convinced. Earth is a planet filled with conflict, violence, and unpredictability. Can you truly prove that your species is worthy of this responsibility?" Jenna felt her stomach tighten, but she refused to let fear take control. She stepped forward, her voice steady. "I understand why you have doubts," she began. "Humanity has had its share of mistakes, but we also have the potential to grow. We've learned from our past, and we continue to evolve. We may not be perfect, but we are capable of great things when we come together. The trials I faced showed that. They tested me, pushed me to my limits, and I overcame them. Not because of strength or power, but because of my ability to think, to adapt, and to care." She paused for a moment, letting her words settle in the air. The council remained silent, watching her intently. "I know that humanity is not perfect," she continued, "but we are capable of learning, and we want to learn. We want to work with the other species, to build something greater than ourselves. I may not have the answers to every question, but I promise you this. We are ready to take that first step into the stars, and we will do so with respect and determination." The council members exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Jenna held her breath, waiting for a response. She knew this moment would define everything, but it felt as if time had stopped. Finally, the tall alien from earlier spoke again. "You speak with conviction, Jenna of Earth, but words alone cannot convince us. There are actions that must follow. Your species will face challenges, obstacles, and opposition. If you are to join the Galactic Alliance, you must prove that you can rise above them. Together." Jenna nodded. "I know that, and I'm ready to prove it." The council members deliberated in hushed tones, and Jenna's heart pounded in her chest. She didn't know how long the silence lasted, but it felt like an eternity. Finally, the alien who had spoken earlier stood and addressed the room. "Jenna of Earth," the alien said, "you have shown us that your species is capable of more than mere survival. You have demonstrated strength, intelligence, and compassion. We will not judge you based solely on your past. We will judge you on your future. And, based on what we've seen here today, we believe Earth deserves a chance to join the Galactic Alliance." Jenna's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't believe it. Her hands shook as she tried to steady herself. The council's leader nodded, and a soft murmur of approval rippled through the room. "Earth is now an official member of the Galactic Alliance. Welcome to the stars, Jenna of Earth." Tears welled up in Jenna's eyes as she took a deep breath. The weight she had been carrying for so long seemed to lift in that single moment. She had done it. She had fought for Earth's future, and together with the Galactic Council, humanity was finally taking its place among the stars. Karn smiled at her, his eyes filled with pride. "You did it, Jenna." Jenna smiled back, her heart full of hope for the future. This was only the beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but Earth had taken the first step into a greater world, and she, Jenna, would be there to lead them into it.